Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marc, co-founder and CEO of Capaciti, the world's first decentralized project marketplace for the enterprise. The story of Capaciti actually begins in 2013 when I was hired by Deloitte Consulting's innovation practice to execute on what seemed like a fairly simple mandate: reimagine how the world's largest professional services business, 240,000 employees around the world in 190 countries, could totally reinvent itself as a brand using only freelance labor, freelance talent. Now, no tall order, right? Well, what happened was we went on a 3-year journey and literally investigated every HR strategy, every freelance platform, every recruitment technique on the planet. And we came away with a couple of key insights. The first was that the market demand is enormous. So with over half the world's economy moving to some combination of freelance or outsource in the next 5 years, this is an enormous market opportunity. And we got a unique insight into how enterprise clients consume these services. But the second thing that we learned is that while you can find individuals and while you can do certain projects, kind of one-off projects, it's actually really difficult to do things at an enterprise scale. So yes, you can do one project, but can you do 100 concurrently? That's actually very, very difficult. Because the missing element is trust. Trust that the vendors are who they say they are, that the work they're going to do is going to be delivered on time and to scope, and that finally that the transactional costs associated with actually doing that work won't just outweigh the benefits you get from just actually hiring a full-time employee in the first place. So there are a number of very large incumbents in the space. I bet if I surveyed the room and asked you if you've used one of these platforms and know somebody had, most of you would put up your hands. And the experience is, I think it's fair to say, fairly mixed. But if you are a small business or a C2C consumer, these are actually pretty good solutions for you. The joke we always use internally is, if you think you have the idea for the next Facebook and you want to find a developer to help you execute that MVP, these are great solutions. But if you are Facebook and you have hundreds of mission-critical projects to deliver, these solutions simply don't scale. So they're great for one-offs, but they're not really geared towards enterprise application. The reason is that each one of those transactions is like a unique commercial relationship. You upload a scope of work onto the platform, and now you're just rolling up to the roulette table hoping that your number is going to hit. And if you find a good vendor, you hold on to them like grim death, right? Because to go back and find another vendor again is like starting from scratch. So fast forward to 2016, my co-founder Steve Davis and I founded Capaciti to try to bridge this gap. We took our unique insights in terms of how enterprises consume freelance talent, and we decided to start to plug that gap. And we knew that if we could create an enterprise solution, it was going to have to be kind of geared around 3 vectors. The first was it had to be scalable. Not only in terms of the talent marketplace, where we aggregate vendors from across the globe that can deliver on enterprise scopes of work, but also scalable in terms of how easy it is to actually access that mechanism so that the transactional cost is actually reduced. The second thing that needed to be fast. You needed to have speed in the platform. Not only in terms of how you manage the delivery of scopes of work, but also the speed at which you can match with your vendor to actually get work done. And the third element, of course, is trust, right? So we needed to create a mechanism where there was total transparency in terms of who the vendors are and what they were able to fulfill, and that the commercial interaction between buyer and seller was totally frictionless. So what we've done is we've kind of built our technology strategy on 3 primary kind of legs of the stool. The first is we created proprietary matching algorithms that allow an enterprise user to match with an appropriate vendor based on either the skill sets, the time zones, or their price point. And we can match those buyers and sellers in under 36 hours so we can move from scope of work to first lines of code within 36 hours. The second thing that we've done is we've taken our proprietary project management methodology and we translated that into Ethereum smart contracts. So when an enterprise user uploads a scope of work, it gets broken up into milestones. And each one of those milestones becomes a smart contract that both parties agree to. We've got an independent pool of adjudicators that adjudicate those smart contracts, and they define when done is done, so that both sides of the transaction know exactly what they're getting into. And the third thing that we're doing is creating a proprietary crypto payment rail. And what the payment rail does is it allows us to level the marketplace for a global enterprise grade market for buyers and sellers. But it also allows us to create flexibility to incentivize and grow the community, both in terms of our vendors and those adjudicators. So it's with great pleasure that I introduce to you for the first time Capaciti, which is the world's first decentralized project marketplace built specifically for the needs of the enterprise. And this is probably the most important slide in our entire presentation, which is to say that Capaciti is not an idea, it's not a theory. We are a going concern business that delivered just under $1 million of revenue in 2017, and we're targeting $3.5 million of revenue for 2018. We've got a great host of enterprise clients that are currently consuming our services, and the purpose of our ICO is then to take our internal services and technology and turn that into a market-facing platform that can be consumed by enterprises globally. Just to give you a quick snapshot of our development roadmap, to give you a sense, we'll be looking to take our existing sandbox, so enterprise clients, and refine the product and ultimately take that to market later this year and then grow our sales and marketing footprint in 2019 and beyond. We're currently involved in our private sale, and if you'd like more information about what we do and to see if that's a match for your investment thesis, we'd love to hear from you. We're exhibiting next door, and our public pre-sale is going to open April 15th. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been wonderful.